Hi, this is Matt Forte of the New York Jets, and you're listening to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from the Redraft Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Happy Friday, everybody!
Woohoo! I love Fridays. Friday's the best day.
It's the best day that starts with an F.
I guess Sunday is far better than Friday.
Doesn't start with an F.
Friday, October 20th, 2017. You guys are special individuals. Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, your year-round fantasy football podcast, bringing you all the knowledge, the information, the holistic approach to fantasy football that you've come to expect from three lunatics in your pocket.
Today's show is brought to you by Friday.
Friday.
That
sounded, again, like a Sesame Street, like by the number.
We're keeping it. Hey,
5.
Hey, you got to keep it going on.
We have a great show. The rest of the matchups today on the show. We'll talk through that. We are recording this episode a wee bit earlier than our normal Friday episode. We have some things going on tomorrow, and so we had to record it a little bit sooner. We're going to weigh in on the in and out, the injuries, who we expect to play, who we don't expect to play. But please, please, pay attention to the news. Pay attention to our Twitter at the FF Ballers. If you're a jointhefoot.com members, you get the game day alerts that you're going to see the in and out report on Sunday morning. Just, regardless of when we record our Friday show, you need to pay attention to the news. It's as simple as that.
But how about that game last night?
Ooh, what a football game.
Oakland, Kansas City.
Oh,
runs
all of the
and throws. And
yeah, so we are recording it before the Kansas City-Oakland game. What a play, though.
How about this? What a touchdown by Amari Cooper.
Oh, you're going to go with that.
I'm putting it out into the world.
Well, you alone will be putting that out into the world. It is Friday, though.
That's your – so here, that's your
that's my bold call.
That's your bold call.
Right.
From the game?
Because this people already know. They're listening.
Yeah.
They already know. Now we sound really smart, really stupid.
Mike Stradamus over here.
Mike Stradamus.
That
I'm going to
doesn't
make –
roll off your tongue.
I'm going to make a bold call.
Okay. What a play by.
No major injuries last night. I'm so happy everyone got through it.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
Whew. Thank goodness.
Oh, you want to look as dumb as possible if something terrible happens?
I'm just so happy no one got injured.
I just can't believe Crabtree put up another 3 touchdowns.
This is the best way to do a show.
Utter shock at his touchdown potential. Well, it is Friday. Wink, wink.
Footclan Friday.
Well, I mean, it is.
What was the wink wink?
Because it isn't for
All
us.
right. Okay. This is my favorite Footclan Friday winner of all time.
Oh, for sure. The name is
his
incredible.
name is Thomas.
Thomas, if you are in the foot and your name is Thomas,
You better check that email.
this could be you.
Yeah, the reality is when you're a Join the Foot member, you choose your username. And so I didn't want to leave Thomas out because he
There's only
didn't put
one
a last name.
Thomas,
That we know of.
and it's you.
He does have an avatar. So he gets a $40 gift card to shopballers.com.
Thanks, Thomas.
We give away a little love every Friday to the jointhefoot.com supporters. You guys make this independent podcast possible. Quick question of the day for today, Friday, October 20th, is this. How should a commissioner deal with inactive owners at this time of year? Example. In Week 6, an owner left a player or two on their lineup that was either a bye week guy or an injured player. It's an easy win for that team's opponent. It hurts the integrity of the league. How do you deal with that? We're coming into Week 7.
Yeah, these are no good. I mean, those type of things ruin a league because, as the question alluded to, it's like it's not just, that stinks. It affects who gets in the playoffs. Because someone else got to play this team, it throws everything out of balance. The commissioner has a responsibility to fix these problems. That's the role that the league has put on a commissioner. So I think sometimes as a commissioner you feel like I can't do anything. I shouldn't do anything. I don't want to overstep my bounds. That's good. But I think the entire league would prefer for a commissioner to step in. So what do you step in and do? Is it like a strike system? You know?
Right.
One strike, you get a –
This is the sometimes this is the eventuality of having a league with too many players to begin with. In the offseason, we talk a lot about, look, you'd rather have an 8-team league with active players than stick with your 10 or 12-man league if you know people will be inactive. Now, you don't necessarily know that before the season, so maybe you're here. Maybe you've made that decision to include a couple people that turned out inactive. Now you're here, and it's a tough situation. What I don't like, I'll tell you what I don't like from a commissioner standpoint. I am not a fan of putting a commissioner in a position to run another franchise. I think that messes up the integrity of the league as bad as anything else. It's the auto pick. You know, the commissioner has their own team. The commissioner going and making start-sit decisions. I don't like that. So I'd like to find a solution that avoids that. One, you can reach out to that owner and tell him the expectations. I think if your league together in communication sets the expectations, you can run on a strike system. That's fine. If it's somebody that you know is going to be inactive the rest of the year, then what do you do? One of the things that I've heard that I love the most is if you have a dead owner, right? It's a completely lame duck. They won't be here next year. The team's not getting managed. I love the idea of making that team essentially the average point scored
for the week.
For the remainder of the week. You don't go make waiver claims for them. You don't go make trades for them. You don't make start-sit decisions. Their roster's their roster, and they receive the average total points.
For the whole league or for the whole league minus the opponents?
No, for the whole league. Total points scored, you give them the average total points scored. If the opponent's more than that, they win. If it's less, they lose. Everybody faces the same average. You're playing the average that 1 week, but you're avoiding integrity issues with the owner, the commissioner having to play players, trades, the dumps, all of that stuff.
So do you freeze that roster?
Yeah,
all players on that team, they're just sorry.
Yeah,
you
because
can't get
if
them.
they're a completely dead owner, that's what I do.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people go, well, we'll just set the lineup to whatever the highest projected points are if that owner's gone. But then you do run into issues of, okay, well, now there's a bye week. You don't have a kicker. Now I got to pick someone up. Who am I supposed to pick up?
Yeah, and how is it fair to pick up somebody and take them away from somebody else? You run into teams. It's dirty. Now, if you have an inactive owner that is just inactive but wants to play in the league, how do you encourage that player to
You have to start with public shaming. I mean, you have to start with, in your
most things in life start with public shaming.
In your communication channels, you got to put that owner on blast, because the way that I see it is if putting them on blast for like, oh, you started a bye week, dude, if some meme you're going to throw at them is going to make them not want to play, good riddance is what I say. But you gotta talk to them, encourage them by any means necessary to be active, and find out. Like, that's the thing, is you've got to know, hey, are you going to be active or do you want out?
Yeah, that's a great point. You can get clarity on the situation, and that lets you make that next decision of whether you take that approach of a dead owner and you get them out of the league, or whether they commit. I mean, that's a good thing. You say, hey, you need to commit to being active. Here's what our expectations are, and no harm done. You don't want to be in the league. I'm not talking about, you don't shame them in their life if they don't want to play fantasy football. That's not the way that this works. But if you make a commitment to something, I think it's okay to hold them accountable to that. Yeah. And that's why here on the show today, Mike, we are officially
putting you on blast,
kicking you out of the league.
But I called that Cooper touchdown.
Oh,
that was good.
True.
That was no one saw it coming.
Okay. Let's
Maybe
go ahead.
No one saw it.
No one saw it at all. Let's go ahead and move on.
What's it going to be, McFly? Are you in or out?
All right, we're going to take an early stab at some in or out calls with these various position players dealing with injuries. Jameis Winston, in or out?
He says he's fine.
Yeah, I think he is going
play.
to suit up. I do agree with Mike. I hesitate to play him.
Okay, I take the out. I don't think he'll play. Running back, in or outs? Fournette.
In.
Murray.
In.
I agree.
I'll throw this. It is a Monday night game for DeMarco Murray, though. So this is one of those, you got to be prepared.
Throw Marlon Mack on your bench.
Sure.
Bilal Powell. Oh, I'm sorry. Tennessee does not play the Colts, so throwing him on your bench doesn't necessarily help you there. I was thinking of last Monday
week.
They play. You said the DeMarco Murray game.
DeMarco Murray's not Monday night. Monday night is Philadelphia.
Oh, that's
and
yes,
Washington.
Kirk Cousins. Yes. Apologize.
Okay.
Rewind.
Bilal Powell.
Shockingly, Todd Bowles came out and said he's going to play. It did not seem like that's going to happen, but he's in.
You think Robert Kelly plays?
Man, that one's tough.
I lean no.
I do as well.
It's a Monday night game. You're in a pickle in that situation. Maybe
Yeah,
Wendell Smallwood could be your fill-in.
The thing I just said about Murray, put it over to Rob Kelly.
There you go. You're a genius.
I feel like at this point, most Robert Kelly owners own Samaje Perine because he was dumped after the first couple weeks. So if you don't, you should. Shame on you.
There you go. Public shaming.
What is going on with you?
I love you guys. I'm
you're
happy
ornery.
You're here.
Yeah.
I'm ornery today. I'm sad it's not really Friday.
Abdullah Oblongata.
Abdullah Oblongata?
Yeah.
And Amir Abdullah?
Yep.
Wide receivers, by the way, Terrence West not practicing. Doubt he's going to play.
Yeah.
Jeremy Maclin?
He was back to practice. I think he does suit up this week.
Eileen, no.
Eileen,
This is in or out, Mike, so you actually say in or out after I say the name.
I just and ha. That's my job.
I noticed.
I've been cut from the team.
Unhelpful,
Now
though.
technically, you said no, not out.
Oh,
So breaking your own rules here, Andy.
You are the Brashad Perryman of this show.
Yes.
You're just annoying.
First round talent.
bro! Very fast. I'm gonna go in Macklin.
Perryman?
I'm gonna go out.
Out.
Perryman.
Out. Stephon Diggs.
I'm going to lean out whenever a player says they're not sure if they're going to play. Like, the player always says they're
Right.
going to play.
Yeah, I'm going out.
Okay. Demarius Thomas?
I'm gonna go in.
Yeah, they need him too much. He'll be in.
Sterling Shepard.
I think he's gonna play.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Not well, though.
Not a good matchup.
Anybody else of note? Corey Davis is out again. Chris Hogan, do you think he's going to play? He should be fine.
Devontae Parker looks like he's going to be out.
Good one to bring up, yeah.
And then Kelvin, just pay attention. I don't have.
We don't have any new information for you as of this earlier recording.
Yeah, and at tight end, Ben Watson's the only name to know. He is looking very questionable, and so since he was already like, if he's fully healthy, he's questionable start. Just
say, are you playing in a 3 tight end league?
No, I'm saying
Ben Watson is out.
If he's on your roster, get him on the waivers.
I think it's worth keeping an eye on Marquise Lee. Didn't practice last 2 days with a knee.
Nice one, Brooks.
So Brooks in or out? Marquise Lee.
In.
Wow. Does not practice in 2 days. In.
That was an interesting.
I like it.
I think everyone should be aware that he is not practicing. He's going to play.
He's definitely in.
Hey, if I got to guess.
Hey, there you go.
If you got to guess. Hey, Mike also jumps on Periscope. Don't forget that. Periscope.tv/theFFBallers. Every Sunday morning, an hour before game time, you can get in on that Periscope action, ask a last-minute question, get his perspective on any news that is just
always a good time.
Broken, yeah.
See how his hair is looking that morning.
And every third show,
on point.
He wears a black shirt that's really tight around the neck, so it looks like he's wearing a
it looks like he's at the barber.
It's because I
am a haircut.
Because that's what I'm doing.
You're at the barber for some of these
multitask, guys.
Periscopes?
That's how we got to do it in the 21st century.
Absolute genius.
Haircuts.
Fantasy Forecast.
Of all the people on earth that people may dispute the claim that you're actually getting a haircut, you're up there on the list. Like, I don't think people believe you get haircuts very often.
I get a haircut every year.
How often do you get a haircut? Let's poll the audience. How often do you think a haircut is appropriate?
Well, here's the thing.
Is it a money thing? Like you don't?
No.
Like how often would you get it if money was not an object?
It's not money. It's time. It's time, my man.
That's fair.
I have to spend my very limited free time going to get a haircut. Pshaw.
What if you could have it brought into you though? Like someone shows up, does it during a Periscope, and then leaves.
Weekly.
Yeah,
you do it
weekly 1 hour before kickoff.
Yeah.
Let's
do it
before kickoff.
Got to keep it fresh.
All right, here's the rest of the games. If you missed any of the matchup previews yesterday on Thursday, you can actually go play that episode. It's still free. It's just free as all the other ones that we put out there. The Jets and the Dolphins, they're playing this week in Miami. The Dolphins are 3-point favorites with a minuscule 38.5-point over-under. Josh McCown put on a bit of a show last week against the New England. Do we call it a defense? Is that what it is? The New England
There's
the New England referees, am I right?
Oh.
McCown, Forte. We just talked about Powell. Do you have any confidence starting a running back in this matchup from New York with the whole, trifecta of McGuire, Powell, and Forte?
I'll still start Matt Forte. He's the healthiest one. This Bilal Powell actually playing is a little bit shocking to me. So I would expect Forte to get the majority of the work. The Dolphins. I mean, the matchup. I know they're strong against the run, but Forte makes his points in the passing game, anyways.
We love Austin Seferian-Jenkins.
Love him.
So how much do we love him? Where would you rank him this week? Where do you guys have him this week?
I have him very high. I think he's in my top 5 tight ends this week. I think the matchup is pretty good. He's leading since he has been back. He's leading the tight end position in receptions. He's the clear, to me, #1 target for the offense. And I think that the Miami Dolphins are going to be able to run the ball on the Jets and score, in which case Austin Seferian-Jenkins will need to be used. So I like Austin Seferian-Jenkins. I'm starting him over most.
ASJ or Jordan Reed?
When I was making my rankings, that was the hardest decision to come to. And I think what you do there is you look at what you need, because I think the floor is actually higher on Austin Seferian-Jenkins right now. I would agree. But the ceiling has to be still with Jordan Reed. So if you need the big play,
he should have had 2 touchdowns.
If you need the big play, well, right, yeah, but that was against New England.
And then ASJ or Evan Ingram, who you have a complete and total lack of respect for, and you don't think that he's good at football, and you keep telling people
clearly because ASJ he has it 4, Ingram you have it way down there at 6.
Yeah, well, there's my answer.
All right, just checking in.
All right, Jay Cutler, Jay Ajayi, the J Bros. You rolling out Cutler as a stream?
No.
You rolling out Jay Ajayi?
Yes, of course.
Is there if you had to take a stab at a second wide receiver in Miami,
as in not Jarvis?
Correct. Jarvis, you're throwing him out there, but is it?
It'd have to be Stills.
Yeah, because we just said we don't expect Parker to play.
Right. So but Stills or Carew or
Stills.
Okay.
Yeah, Stills last week was 4 for 49 with a touchdown, so he had himself a game. And the New York Jets, yeah, he could be a flyer play, but
I think Cutler is streamable this week. The Jets,
I agree.
The Jets defense, they're the worst in the NFL at hurrying the quarterback. You saw some growth last week. The Jets on the road. I think it's a possibility that you see I'm going to go 2 touchdowns for Jay Cutler this week.
Ooh.
2 touches.
How many picks, though?
16. The Ravens take on the Vikings in Minnesota. The Vikings are 5.5-point favorites at home with Case Keenum behind center, 39.5-point over-under. Give me the under. Give me the under in this one. I have not gotten to the point where I believe the Baltimore Ravens have started their season. That's how it kind of feels on offense.
They are mysterious.
They are a strange bunch. What is their current record?
I think they're 3-3.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
That's right.
They're 3-3.
You're darn right.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
for how
500.
I feel about the Baltimore Ravens. It's almost though it's like a single note on a piano that just keeps playing all year long, and you almost tune it out because of the lack of fantasy relevance. You don't play Flacco. You don't play any of the wideouts. Buck Allen is the guy that you can play, but you're, even week to week, you're not super excited about it. Are you excited about him against the Vikings in Minnesota?
No. The Ravens are a bathtub that I can't decide if it's too hot or too cold.
Yeah, so you don't even get in.
No. You can play the Ravens.
It's not refreshing. It's not soothing to the muscles.
And I say I'd rather stink.
It's tepid.
I think you can play
Very nice vocab.
I think you can play the Baltimore Ravens defense in this. I realize they're going on the road.
I do too.
But I agree. I'd take the under in this game. I'm not expecting a whole lot of offense from anyone. If you had to start a non-DST from Baltimore, would it just be Buck Allen? Or?
Yeah, it's Buck Allen. I mean, the Vikings have a great run defense, so I have concerns for Alex Collins.
Perriman, the concussion, Macklin, the injury. If you have to stream a wideout, I mean, it's Mike Wallace. The Vikings are 14th against the pass. They're very stout against the run. So you could take a flyer on Wallace, who has flashed a little bit over the last 3 weeks, as much as a tepid bathtub can flash. But Jerick McKinnon, what is the ceiling in this matchup against the Ravens at home? The Ravens, they seem to struggle against the run, or more so, eventual yards go up because they're so good against the pass. They're fifth against the pass. Nobody's run against them. Nobody has run more against the team in the NFL than teams have against the Ravens because of their pass defense.
A lot of that's thanks to the 50 carries in last week's game against Chicago. That's an absurd amount of carries. 199 yards on the ground last week. I like McKinnon quite a lot. I mean, right now I see him as a somewhat matchup-proof guy because of the
pass catching.
Yeah, because of his ability in the pass catching. So
he did pop up on the injury report with an ankle situation on Thursday. Has practiced in full.
I'm still confident in playing him.
Yeah, over 15 carries, over 5 receptions, both of the weeks since Dalvin Cook went out. You can trust him.
I love Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph's your start of the week, right?
He's my start of the week because of what I'm projecting is the lack of Stephon Diggs. But Adam Thielen, it's a tougher matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. Do you still what kind of confidence are you talking for Thielen? Wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3?
Yeah, 3.
I agree.
All right, before we move on to our next matchup, I do want to thank Harry's for sponsoring the show, helping us keep the lights on. Harry's has been a long-time sponsor of the podcast, and for good reason. I've been a Harry's customer for a very long time. And look, there are other razor companies out there. They just they basically just reap profits. I reap players, they reap profits because they just increase the prices over and over again. So this company, they started out, they got fed up with getting ripped off, and they started Harry's. It's $2 a blade instead of the $4 you pay at the drugstore for the other guys. And what do I love most about Harry's? Look, I love the consistent, smooth, close shave. It's just part of the routine. It's affordable. I absolutely love it. And they're confident you're going to love their blades. They give you a free trial set. You just cover the shipping. You get a weighted ergonomic handle. You get a precision-engineered blades with a lubricating strip. You get rich lathering shave gel. You get a travel blade cover. You get this $13 value for free. They just let you try it out because they know you're going to love it. So stop messing around. Start shaving with Harry's today by claiming your free trial offer, a $13 value, like I said. Just cover the shipping. To get your free trial set, including a razor handle, 5-blade cartridge, and shave gel, go to harrys.com/footballers. Right now, that's harrys.com/footballers.
And we know that many of you out there are getting ready for another weekend of DFS, and there are some of you out there thinking, I want to get into it.
You want some of that daily fantasy
delights. I want to play some FanDuel. I want to play some Draft or DraftKings, but I'm not exactly sure how to do it. You got to check out the Ultimate DFS Pass. This is the place where we have all of our premium articles, cash picks, tournament picks. I mean, alerts every Sunday. Every Sunday morning. There are no toothpicks.
Oh, okay.
But that's an interesting point.
We could add it.
Certainly add it in there. Every Sunday, get some alerts on what's happening, guys who are looking like they're going to be out, stack reports. I mean, everything you need, all the information you need to go into
proprietary comparison charts.
Absolutely. What's with the vocab today, fellas? You're kicking it up a notch. You will, trust me, you jump into the Ultimate DFS Pass, you will have the confidence to go over into FanDuel, DraftKings, Draft, start winning a little bit on this side, or winning a lot like one of our users said, hey, guys, I won $39,000. And I was like,
they're nice.
Hey, congratulations to you, my friend. So check it out, ultimatedfspass.com.
All right, we're going to talk Cowboys 49ers. 49ers are 6-point dogs at home, 47-point over-under. We have not talked about the Ezekiel Elliott situation any more since Wednesday. Now that's like a successful thing.
Yes, it is.
That being said, and now it's trepidatious, especially on a show we're recording slightly early, to say anything about the news. However,
he's playing.
He's playing, and reports have come out now in the last 2 days that there have been further negotiation talks between the NFL and Ezekiel Elliott on a potential settlement for a suspension. You could see these sides, because of the back and forth, the legal situation, you could have both sides not really wanting to risk further legislation, further delay. Ezekiel Elliott may not want he doesn't want a 6-game ban. There are open discussions going on right now. So you could have a scenario where maybe a 2-game, 3-game suspension is agreed to. Maybe, maybe it's something where they agree to delay the suspension. I don't know what potential outcomes there are, but discussions happening to that end will affect your fantasy football season. So
do it, Zeke.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Unless you didn't do it. Anyway,
moving on.
I will say this before that, Adam Schefter did report, and I really usually trust his reporting. He said that it is guaranteed that he will be playing the next 2 weeks.
Right.
So I have been expecting.
You can check the tape when Mike Wright was reporting that 2 days ago.
Sure, I don't trust Mike Wright.
He's not
as far as you could throw him. Yeah.
But so I mean, I don't know if these negotiations would possibly come in the way of that. So who knows? So what?
So what? Who cares?
All right, Dez Bryant, you're starting him in this matchup.
My goodness.
Is there anybody you don't love on the Dallas side of the football?
No, the 49ers bring out very provocative emotions for when I'm trying to start fantasy players against them.
You can stand alone on that one.
No, I get the
tingles.
The tingles,
get a little sweaty.
Little sweaty of the butterflies in the tummy.
Bothered
because I want to play my guys. Dak
Prescott.
Oh my goodness,
is great.
Dez Bryant,
great.
Jason Witten. I'll play him.
Yeah.
Dak is our number 2 quarterback for this.
I'll
week.
play him. You know who else I'll play? In a PPR,
really,
the number 1 receiver for Dallas, Cole Beasley. I'll play him in this matchup.
You don't fear that.
Still got the Beasles, do you?
You're darn right.
Zeke will run too much to allow Cole Beasley, the possession receiver, to be
just saying
involved enough.
Just talking to wide receiver 3.
Okay,
but
all right,
I think he's playable.
Yeah,
you can play the Dallas D against C.J. Beathard.
Yes.
Yeah, Beathard was okay. I mean, he was really thrown into the fire.
He was a Cody Kessler level.
And again, he did not have any team preparing for him. You know what I mean?
It
was actually Brian Hoyer who was the starter. Now you've got a week where you've got a team. It was just like
how do you prepare for the unpreparable, Jason?
Easily.
It was just
Chris
like
Hogan.
what happened with
Kevin Hogan.
Kevin Hogan, exactly.
All right, the Cowboys defense has given up 2.2 passing touchdowns per game. That is 3rd worst in the league. Are you sticking with Garcon? Do you take a shot with anybody else? Kittle, Goodwin?
Kittle is definitely a stream-worthy tight end.
You like him?
I do.
You would take a biddle of a shot?
There's a rapport there that they have from college. Garcon, I would be willing to put out in this matchup as well. And, of course, I love Carlos Hyde. So there's really nothing I'm avoiding here. I'm not going to start C.J. Beathard. I don't think I'm going to take a shot on anyone else.
I'm fine.
Maybe
I'm fine with
Goodwin.
Garcon. I mean, Garcon's been targeted, I think, more than just about any wide receiver in the league this year. Run more routes than almost anybody. He's good.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Good enough.
He's a wide receiver 2 this week.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to get scored on. They're going to have to throw the ball.
I can get on board
47
with that.
passing attempts last week by the 49ers.
Yeah, Garcon is 6th in targets, just to back you up.
The Bengals take on the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Steelers 5.5-point favorites. Am I allowed to have 2 of these?
Oh, no!
Andy's almost upset of the week.
I've never had 2, but I'm going to take another shot here. I'm going to try to go 2 for 2 this week. The Bengals, they look like heavy dogs at home. I've taken a pretty close look at this Steelers passing defense. I see Brooks putting the note in there. I've got the almost upset of the week part 2. The Steelers' passing defense ranks numero uno in
On
the
paper,
league.
it's fantastic.
Number 1. And I'm not saying it's not a good defense and a good passing defense. But if you look and break down their matchups thus far, you can make an argument they faced no number 1 wide receivers.
Cleveland, week 1.
Yep.
Minnesota, week 2. Oh, 7 digs, except that's the
Case Keenum debut.
Case Keenum debut. Chicago. They literally don't have any wide receivers like on the roster. Baltimore.
They don't either, and didn't that week.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, not really.
And then last week, you finally had at least a decent offense. The Kansas City Chiefs.
But they gave up a touchdown in that one.
Actually 9 for 111 and a touchdown.
And A.J. Green, you don't generally stop A.J. Green. So I think there are opportunities here. You're coming off the bye for Cincinnati. It's a divisional game. I think I'd take the points and the Bengals in this one. So if you're looking at a second upset of the week, that's the one that I lean towards. Other starts on this roster, is there anybody outside of Mixon?
So with having said that,
yeah,
I mean the Steelers on paper in the defense, I agree. I think that the Steelers' pass defense is actually good, but it's hard to argue with who they have been playing against. So are you comfortable starting Andy Dalton?
2 quarterback leagues, yes.
So
there's too many other options that aren't on the road in Pittsburgh against the number 1 passing D. So comfortable? No, I'm not comfortable.
He's my 21st ranked quarterback this week, so you're only talking about 2 quarterback leagues there.
All right.
So really, it's AJ Green and Joe Mixon.
What about the Tomb Raider?
Tyler Kroft?
Yeah.
Tyler Kroft, no. Nope.
You're holstering the pistols?
Not going to worry about it. Yes, I'm holstering the pistols.
Yeah, Pittsburgh.
It is unlimited ammo.
The Steelers have only given up 1 touchdown to the tight end position all year.
I remember playing a Tomb Raider game 15 years ago, and I was stuck in you had to go through the training session, but it was a super long training session. I could never get out of it. Couldn't get out of the stinking training session. That's how good I am at video games.
Tomb Raider often turned into me just finding the highest ledge and doing the swan dive.
Oh yeah. See, the bears would jump out of the dark.
Yeah, the bears.
They'd scare the crap out of me.
I don't think I ever once played a Tomb Raider game. Sorry.
Well, there's only about 75 of them, so you missed it.
There you go.
Big Ben and the Pittsburgh offensive confusion. Lev Bell is locked and loaded. You know that. Antonio Brown, the Bengals are the 2nd-ranked passing defense.
Don't care.
Doesn't matter. I wouldn't be starting Martavis, Juju, Eli Rogers in this matchup. I'm not taking shots with them or Jesse James. So I think this is a simple start your studs type of game. The real question comes down to, do you play Big Ben Roethlisberger, and who do you play him over?
No.
We all say no as a QB1 right now, 14, 15, 16 in our ranks.
I would much rather be streaming Tyrod or
yeah, I mean, you've got the plus that it's at home, but you've got the downside of it being a divisional matchup.
Yeah, the downside that it's Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger has not been as good when it comes to in-division games.
Football.
People that are used to seeing him play, and Cincinnati's defense, I think, is fully legit. So, yeah, 2 quarterback leagues. That's it.
You guys want to talk about the Broncos and the Chargers?
Preferably not, but
CJ Anderson.
The Chargers at home in this one. They are 1-point favorites at home against the Denver Broncos, the freshly defeated Denver Broncos, losing to the Giants quite handily last week. Simeon, CJ Anderson, Charles, Booker, a lot of questions. Benny Fowler in a deep league, I think you can start him. I'm making that decision in a deep league. You got some bye week problems, injury problems. I'm going to roll him out there. He's in the same tier as starting an Allen Hurns to me.
Sure.
What else do you do on this team? Emmanuel Sanders is going to miss this game.
He's going to miss this game. I expect him to miss multiple weeks. From the Broncos side, I'm with Jason that C.J. Anderson, I think, is a great start. You have the Denver Broncos running backs averaging over 110 rushing yards per game. Now, I know that's as a unit, but Anderson is still the main running back, and the Chargers' run defense dead last in allowing rushing yards. So that feel good. This is a get right game for C.J. Anderson.
Did get some news, a little bit of news that Stephon Diggs did practice.
Oh,
on Thursday,
did he?
Thursday night.
Okay.
So, does it change your opinion on whether you think he's going? Does it change your opinion on any other? The Adam Thielen situation. If Diggs goes, do you sit Thielen?
No, I'm playing Thielen regardless. It just kind of changes the ceiling. And I would still play Kyle Rudolph with confidence. And Stephon Diggs coming back.
If Diggs is in, do you play Diggs? Oh, man. I don't.
I prefer
with him
not.
being hobbled against the Baltimore Ravens, I would try to take that week off.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing it. Rivers, Gordon, Allen, and the other 3 guys at the wide receiver position. Allen had a down week. We talked about Hunter Henry on the starts of the week. Melvin Gordon, monstrous week last week. But the run defense for the Broncos is pretty good. It's not like you're sitting Melvin Gordon, though, right?
No, you're not sitting Melvin Gordon any way, shape, or form. I mean, you just can't do that. Even we saw Zeke get shut down by the Denver Broncos, but you still could not have ever before the game have said, I should sit him. That's what you have with Melvin Gordon. You have to start him every single time and not worry. I mean, look, Orleans Darkwa says it can be done.
Yeah, he certainly does. Do you have any confidence in playing Rivers or
I think Rivers is in the category of Dalton this week, where I think that there's an opportunity there. I prefer a different option because I don't want to play that game, but they're at home in this case. Rivers has been very streamable. He's got a lot of weapons now with Allen and Williams and Benjamin and the other Williams and Hunter Henry.
He
Gates.
had a solid game week 1 against them, but it was really on the back of a big broken play kind of opened things up for him. He was mostly shut down.
The Chargers throw the second most in the league. So you know the volume attempts will be there. I think you could do worse.
Yeah, the question. So
Big Ben
that's what I was just going to
Phillip
ask.
Rivers.
Big Ben or Phillip Rivers?
Oh man,
I will take Phillip Rivers.
I'll take Rivers as well.
Yeah, my rankings say Big Ben, but when push comes to shove right now, I don't know that that's really true because both of these defenses that they're facing are pretty good, and I trust Rivers to sling it around more, and it looks like he's got more options right now. You know, you could score Phillip Rivers. Melvin Gordon or Keenan Allen or Hunter Henry. There's a lot of different ways, but hopefully you can avoid either of them.
Okay.
Both of them? Both of them. That's what I was looking for.
Okay. You're all right.
We got there.
The Seahawks take on the Giants in New York. 40-point over-under, 5.5-point underdogs are the Giants at home. Russell Wilson coming off the bye week. Major problems on the offensive line still. Luke Jokel's not expected to play in this game. When he plays, it's not normally a good thing. When he doesn't play, that means there are even worse things coming in the darkness. What do we make of this matchup? Because, Vegas says that the Seahawks are going to take care of the Giants in this one. We haven't really seen the prolific performances that we want out of Doug Baldwin or any of the running backs on Seattle. So what are your expectations for them in this game?
Doug Baldwin is a must play. He's a slot receiver. I don't expect Jenkins to be on him. We got C.J. Prosise, who's likely to be back now, just making the running back situation even worse. With C.J. Prosise back, do you expect J.D. McKissick to slink back into the shadows?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would say Jimmy Graham's
great.
He's a great play because the Giants give up points to the tight end. So, but that's it. I mean, I'm not starting a running back, especially with Prosise coming back into it, not knowing him.
Yeah, you just don't. You don't have any idea who it would be, and even if you knew who was going to get the carries, you don't have confidence that they're going to do anything with it. So you can't start a running back. But I fire up pretty much all of the major pass catching options there. I'm not.
Well, so like Lockett or Richardson.
No, Lockett and Richardson. I'll probably avoid those guys right now. But I would play Baldwin, Russell Wilson, Jimmy Graham, and I'd start them over most options. I think they're going to have a good game coming off a bye.
Well, let's put that to the test. Jimmy Graham or Evan Engram, both the tight ends starting in this game. Who would you take this week?
I'm taking Jimmy Graham in this game.
I think it's Graham. But if I have both on my team, honestly, I would probably play Engram. So I need to make sure that my rankings reflect that. And they do. I had it right. Yes. Evan Engram.
I was going to say, I was a little confused. So, wait.
I would play Engram. I would play Engram.
That's why
I'm just saying the matchup is so juicy for Jimmy Graham, but I believe in the talent of Engram and him being the number one option now in the passing game, despite Sterling Shepard's possible return.
I think there are a lot of fantasy football owners that want or will start Orleans Darkwa this week. Are they making a mistake?
No, I would start him. The Seahawks' run defense has not been what it has been in years past.
Do you think Paul Perkins practicing, maybe being active for this game, causes an issue for Darkwa?
It certainly could, but I
just feel like he's a trap.
Do you?
I do. I feel like Darkwa's a trap this week. It could be one of those games where he gets like 8 carries for 15 yards or something like that.
That's in the realm of possibilities. I'm not starting Darkwa as a top 24 option.
Okay. That helps to understand where you're valuing him.
Yeah, I'm saying like in the flex, if I'm in a standard league, sure, I'll put Orleans Darkwa.
One of the nice things that we saw.
Aaron Jones or Orleans Darkwa this week?
That's a good question.
I would
I'd go Aaron Jones.
I think I would go Darkwa.
I would go Jones by a hair. Derrick Henry or Orleans Darkwa this week.
Assuming DeMarco Murray plays?
Yep. Assuming what we know today.
Oof. I'll go.
I'm going
to go Darkwa.
I would as well. One of the nice things from last week is that we saw Darkwa and the running game kind of actually look good, shockingly, for the New York Giants.
Past 2 weeks, Darkwa's looked great.
Darkwa's looked good both times, but the play calling changed this last week. So there's actually reason to believe that the changeover to Orleans Darkwa mattered because McAdoo took the play calling out of his hands. And all of a sudden the offense was able to move because they have a guy dedicated to the offense as opposed to the head coach trying to do more than maybe he can handle. So that gives me a little bit of hope for Darkwa. I said I would play Aaron Jones over him, but there is reason to believe it could happen for Darkwa rest of the season.
All right, let's move on to the rematch. Falcons.
Oh, 28-3.
Falcons, Patriots, 55.5 point over-under.
55!
In New England. The Patriots defense, we know their struggles this year, 32nd against the pass, 20th against the run. They stink so far this year. They have not figured it out. You would think Matt Ryan and company could take advantage of that.
Oh, yeah. I think Matt Ryan will take advantage. He's my start of the week. Julio Jones, this is, over under 200 yards. He's going to go crazy.
Wow, you're that?
Julio is going to go crazy in this game. The amount
I'll
of
take the under of 200 yards.
Sure. I mean, hyperbole aside, the amount of broken plays we've seen from the Patriots defense, especially the long plays, the big chunk plays, that's Julio's specialty, and he's been getting the downfield targets this season. He just hasn't had the touchdowns. I think Julio's an absolute monster this week.
55.5 points. You got Matt Ryan as your start of the week. You must have another pass-catching option in Atlanta that you want to start alongside Julio.
Yeah, Freeman and Coleman.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tevin Coleman is the guy that sticks out to me. I almost made him my start of the week, but
Taylor Gabriel or Benny Fowler?
Gabriel.
Yeah, I would
go for the big play, right?
Assuming that Mo Sanu is out, it would be Gabriel.
Tom Brady and the Patriots. You've got the
–
I'll play him.
You have the four-headed creature under the bed, Gillislee, White, Burkhead, Lewis.
Yeah.
Stay away, stay away.
Yeah, but if you got to pick one.
If I got to
James
pick
White.
one, it's Deion Lewis, hands down. I'm really –
yeah, it's
I'm
Deion Lewis.
really
The
bullish.
hands are down. The water, the water must be up.
No!
What? Yeah, I want a Deion Lewis water bet. I want something on the line with Deion Lewis.
Water bet.
We got like 3 bets this week.
I have a really hard time.
White, Lewis, half point.
Sure. Now, you got to remember, Deion Lewis for the Super Bowl game. James White was the guy that came back and did everything.
Had a NFL record of performance in that game.
Unbelievable. He was great, and so White could just redo that role. But I think that what we've seen over the last few weeks with Lewis emerging, if you just look at the arrows, the amount of snaps, the amount of carries, the amount of yards, everything has been going up for Deion Lewis, and I think he matches up really well against the Falcons. So if you're in one of those leagues where the waivers are scarce, Deion Lewis is still there in the vast majority of leagues. Last week I was in a position where I had to pick up and play Chris Ivory in a league. That's the type of play where I think you could pick up and play Deion Lewis. It's risky.
If you ever seen Jurassic Park, the scene where where Newman is escaping the island and he's driving,
of course,
and he gets to the fork in the road, and the arrow, and he doesn't know where the arrow is pointing, and then he just spins the arrow.
Yeah,
that's what Belichick does with your arrows at the running back position. He couldn't care if they're going up, down, or backwards. We're both going to end up wrong. Rex Burkhead is going to have 600 yards and 14 touchdowns in this game. We'll see what happens. James White had the 14 receptions and 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, but that doesn't matter. Deion Lewis has played great. To be honest with you, I wish I hadn't bet just because I just plain don't know what he's going to do with this running back core. Everybody sees the beautiful opportunity at home against Atlanta, but are you going to play Gillislee, Mike?
Probably.
Okay.
I'll probably still play him. Just
Rank the wideouts then for me. Hogan, Cooks, Amendola.
You're gonna die on that cross, man.
No, and it's not because I feel really confident about him. It's because I don't have a better option out there. I mean, he will get 10 or more carries, and the touchdown upside, I still buy into it.
Yeah.
They're not lately. They aren't getting those carries from inside the 5 because
Latavius
Lewis
Murray,
is running them in from the
Mike
8.
Gillislee or Latavius Murray.
Oh, Gillislee.
Latavius.
I'll go Gillislee.
No, that's
Yeah, Latavius. I'm not. No.
All right. Rank the wideouts.
Ranking the wideouts, I'll go Cooks, Hogan, Amendola. It's really tough to know what to do with Hogan and Cooks of who is the one. Last week it was Cooks, but Hogan got a little shaken up, so that's why I'm leaning to Brandon Cooks.
Okay. All right. I think it's going to be an exciting game. We got a high over-under. You taking the over, the under on the 55.5?
I'm taking the over.
I'll take the over.
I will as well. Redskins, Eagles, Monday Night Football. I don't have any new information on Josh Norman, but that really affects the way I feel about Alshon Jeffrey in this game.
So we're
and Carson Winston as well, or will he just go elsewhere?
I feel like it's going to affect Jeffrey more than it will Wentz. I think I'd still be starting Wentz. I'm not going to, first game back for Josh Norman. The Eagles have been so successful lately at moving the ball. I don't think I'm going to downgrade Wentz very much, but it's a worthwhile question. Nelson Aguilar scored 4 times in his, 6 games this year. Are you starting both guys if Norman's off the field?
Yeah, I think you are. If Norman is off the field, Carson Wentz should have a good game, and now I feel like there is a clear wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. Torrey Smith is not the 2. He's not battling with Aguilar. Aguilar has shown that he is that second weapon, or third if you include Zach Ertz, who, of course, is an every week slam dunk must start.
LeGarrette Blount, do you like him? The Redskins have a 8th ranked run defense.
Yeah, I mean, the game is at home. I expect the Eagles to be winning the game. And so the opportunity could be there for LeGarrette Blount. It's always hard to say, oh, this is going to be a monster week for LeGarrette Blount because you just don't necessarily believe in the talent. But he's looked pretty darn good this year, and most of the predictive things favored at home. They are in LeGarrette Blount's favor to start him.
Any other must-start situations on the Philly side?
Not a must-start, but I am all eyes on Wendell Smallwood this week. If he's back, this is going to be...
How many eyes?
2.
He said all.
Well, I wear glasses, so some might say 4.
Nice.
I am very interested to see what Wendell Smallwood does. They have not had that pass-catching back role even used since Darren Sproles went out, but they have had, they had it last year, and the beginning of this year they did. Wendell Smallwood took over that role, it appeared, in the only game we've seen without Darren Sproles with Smallwood. Then he got injured. So if he's back, I'm not starting him, but I'm definitely keeping my eyes on him.
Redskins have run the ball the 5th most in the league, 47% of their plays, regardless of the Rob Kelly injury. Mike, you have Kirk Cousins as your start of the week this week.
Yep.
Do the Eagles shut the run down? They're one of the best running defense teams in the league. Do you look to Cousins to find one of these guys? Do you take a shot at Jamison Crowder? Do you take a shot at Terrell Pryor? Is this a week Pryor can get it turned around? They need a number 1 there.
Yeah, they do. They're all it's all upside plays here with Pryor, Crowder, and Doxson. So if I'm taking an upside play, I'm going to go with Josh Doxson in this matchup. He's aside from the one where he didn't come down with the touchdown, he's making big plays. When the ball goes his way, he's making a big play. You have the coach actually supporting him, and Gruden supports nobody. I mean, he hates everyone.
I might have tuned out for a split second there, Mike. Are you saying you would start Doxson over those 2 players?
Yeah, if I had to take one Washington pass catcher, I'm going to take Josh Doxson.
See, my perspective on Doxson has been, hey, this is a hold guy, but you're talking about a guy who played 29% of snaps who there's no way I would do that. Like, my advice to a fantasy owner would be, hey, take a shot with a guy that's out there on the field. Pryor's out there the entire game as the one. So I play Pryor.
Doxson has 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. However, he has a total of 4 receptions.
Yeah.
I agree with Andy. I would lean Pryor. I want Doxson. I want him on my team because he is that big upside. Hopefully, if the tides turn and he gets on the field, there's been good reports.
You obviously think that tide turns this week for you to say to start him over all the other wide receiver
What
options.
I'm saying is I don't particularly buy into any of them this week.
Even though you buy into Cousins.
Yes.
As the number 1 and the Eagles.
Right. But that's already been happening.
Yeah, that's proven. That Cousins is spreading the ball around so much that if I have to take a shot on one of the wide receivers, I'll go with Doxson.
I think we'd all love to start Chris Thompson then over all of those options. If you're looking at a flex, Chris Thompson's the guy that I think he's on pace to be one of the first or to be the 4th ever with 100 carries and 1,000 yards receiving. That's the pace that Chris Thompson's on right now.
And he's not going to sustain it.
I'll jump in real quick. Rob Kelly returned to practice today, limited. So.
Today is when, Brooks?
Oh, boy. Yesterday. Thursday.
Yesterday. Yeah, thank you.
He returned on Thursday.
Limited,
he's
though.
At least limited, yeah.
Yeah, he's practiced in a limited capacity before, though, and sat. Is that correct?
Yes. Different injury, though. But I'm going to avoid Rob Kelly. I'm going to avoid Samaje Perine. This defense in the run game has impressed me too much to say start the Redskin running back who nobody has already been producing.
Right. I got a player for you. He's on Washington. In the past 3 weeks, he's had no lower than 58 yards. 58 yards, 89 yards, 65
Vernon
yards.
Davis.
Vernon Davis. Are you willing to play Vernon Davis?
No. No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going to just throw out one last thing.
Nope. You're not.
I'm willing to play Terrell Pryor this week.
Oh, okay.
The Daily Dose, brought to you by PlayDraft.
Just throwing my countdown off here for our Play Draft Weekly segment where we draft against one another. The loser has to eat something terrible, a lunch bet. And look, we're facing off head-to-head. Mike's got the first pick in our draft, 5 players each. You can play with us at draft.com/ballers. And the guys over there are great. Mike, you're on the clock, kicking this thing off.
Oh, my
standard
goodness.
Draft.
Everyone is available to me.
We haven't done this in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm a bit psyched out.
We've been playing expert drafts, quarterback-only drafts. This week we're doing a full open draft, so you can take any player. Well, Mike did.
I'm going to start it off right. I'm going to take Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I'm going to take Zeke against San Francisco.
I was really torn.
Yeah.
Of Zeke or Le'Veon Bell.
Wait, now Jason isn't torn because he doesn't get to choose those at all.
Yeah,
I think we have them.
But I'll get a player in tonight's game, yesterday's game.
That had a great game.
Yeah, haha, I got you guys. Kareem Hunt.
What
he
a
looked
game.
so great.
This time travel business
it's tough. It's tough stuff.
Yeah, it's tough stuff. And I'm going to also go and put my money where my
there you go.
mouth is and take Julio Jones, who I think is going to go off this week.
Okay. Well, I'm there's a bunch of options here. I'm on the fence here. I'm going to take Devonta Freeman against New England.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
I'm going to go double up on my running backs and put Mike on the clock.
All right, I'm gonna go with a double stuff stack here.
Dak and Dez?
Dak and Dez.
Okay.
Dak and Dez.
Oh, I'm on the clock.
You're on the clock, and there's only one player I don't want you to take. And if the last few Fridays are any indication, you will always take the one player I want. It was Tom Brady. Congratulations taking Tom Brady.
I did take Tom Brady.
I mean, every single week there's always that one guy.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, that's not fun. I'm going to say ankle be darned. Leonard Fournette is going to rush all over the Indianapolis Colts. So I'll be happy to have him.
Bad.
And then I'm going to stack up with my Julio since I don't get Brady. Take some Matt Ryan, my start of the week.
See, that was an unintelligent pick. We both had quarterbacks already.
The clock got me, man.
The clock got you. Yeah. All right.
No.
I'm going to go with another guy that had a monster game last night. Crabtree dominated last night. I'm going to take Krabby. It seems like probably a strange pick with some of the bigger names on the board, but I think he's just got a great matchup. Mike, you went with the Gronk?
I'm going to
take Gronk, man?
I'm going to take Gronk smash. I'm also going to follow that up with wait a minute. I can't find it. Did someone take Shady? Like, why can't I find you, Shady?
Nobody
No,
tell
nobody.
him.
Oh,
Nobody
he's
tell
on,
Nobody tell him.
because I needed to scroll up to the very top where he belongs.
All right, now
at the top of the list.
Now I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I don't think A.J. Green is going to get stopped by this hypothetical number 1 defense. I'm taking him with my last pick.
And the fact that with the last pick I can ever get Antonio Brown is a delight. Always happy to have him on my team, regardless of the matchup.
Jason, what's your team?
My team is Matt Ryan, stacking with Julio Jones and Antonio Brown. My running backs of Leonard Fournette and Kareem Hunt feeling pretty good.
Yeah, especially after how Kareem Hunt played last night.
Oh, man,
or
got me off to a huge something.
Tom Brady, Ezekiel Elliott, Devonta Freeman, Michael Crabtree, and A.J. Green is what I'm going with. Mike?
And I'm rolling Dak, Dez combo, Lev Bell, LaShawn McCoy at running back, and I put a tight end. It's a wide receiver tight end flex, but Gronk smash
Oh, that's a great pick.
is too much to pass on.
All right, that is it. If you want to play with us, again, go to draft.com/ballers. You can play with your friends, make some water bets, make some lunch bets, make some real bets, win some money, and we love playing each and every week. And, we'll keep you up to date with what happens this week. Also, just a reminder, if you want to help support the podcast, there are a lot of ways you can support this free show that drops into your pocket every day. One of the ways you can do that, leave us a review on iTunes. We always appreciate those. We read those on the show from time to time. You can also check out jointhefoot.com, our fantasy football community. You get exclusive access to special forums only for the Foot Clan. You get access to premium projections and flex rankings, consistency charts. We try to provide exceptional value in exchange for your support, and so we really appreciate everything you guys do. And thanks for bearing with us in this early recording of the Friday show.
I'll shut us down. We did get a alert. Once again, it's Thursday. Delaney Walker has been added to the injury report with a calf. So
he has a calf?
He has one. He's raised it from birth.
But he only has one? Oh.
No, you went. See, Mike went. He shifted.
Very nice.
He switched over to the animal.
Yes, a little bit of later news, despite the fact that I took Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette did sit out the Thursday practice, as did DeMarco Murray. So
well, you knew that before you took the pick, obviously.
Yeah, that is true. And Andy, let me ask you a question because I didn't listen to you. Did you tell people to listen to the DFS pod?
Oh, you mean the one that released this morning?
Oh!
The Fantasy Footballers DFS podcast on iTunes. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good weekend. See you on Periscope on Sunday. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.